Hey guys, we're here with Mark, Geordie Scaper, to do a scape in our gallery.
Hi guys.
Right, so we got you in our gallery to do this 6045 ADA sat on a horizon cabinet. It's got good depth, hasn't it? So we thought this would be the perfect choice for your scape.
Yeah, definitely, because the depth was important because the type of scape I had in mind. And do you know, talking about the ADA tank, it's the first time I've ever scaped an ADA tank.
Really?
Yeah.
Like a proper ADA tank?
Yeah, I've never scaped an ADA tank.
What did you think?
Well, there's only one ADA aquarium, isn't it? Amazing. Yeah, so here I'm just creating some depth using some of the lava soil. Cheaper, less expensive to do, so you can get some good height using this, and also it's going to create a good base for your substrate for circulation, plenty surface area for beneficial bacteria. So I used quite a bit, didn't I?
You did, but you were getting quite a lot of height as well, weren't you?
Yeah, I needed plenty height again for the scape I had in mind. Loads of height, so I thought using the lava soil would be the best bet, which worked out good.
You sometimes, I think you've mentioned in the past, you sometimes use Seeker Matrix. Is that right?
Yeah, in some of my scapes I've used Matrix, and what I do just to create a more, nutritious, like base layer, I'll crush some Matrix up and just sprinkle some flourish tabs on as well.
It's a good idea.
So this has got nutrients in as well, so we could have added some extra nutrients, but it was fine, wasn't it? It's got loads of height, as you can see.
Yeah, definitely. That's a big stone as well, that.
It is, yeah.
With.
Heavy as well, so I was a bit nervous doing this, thinking, ADA tank, hack stone, weighs a ton. Perfect stone, again, because the scape was like based on a river style. Like a creek, that's what we're aiming for with the smoother stones.
Yeah, so you want like more rounded stuff rather than sharp edge stuff.
Yeah, so the perfect hack stone work for that, and hack stone in an ADA aquarium, again, brilliant. Placing the main stones, trying to get an idea of the scape, how I want it to look. And let's see, it is heavy stone, that way.
Yeah, it's like marble. It's so heavy.
So what I was aiming for, just like I was saying before, kind of a valley or a creek, a stream, river. So getting the stones placed each side to get that actual look and feel. So it's important, obviously, when you're doing it, so getting some good proportions and creating a sense of depth. So keeping those rules in mind, not like a traditional Iwagumi where you would place the stones. So more left-hand side, right-hand side, but using different size stones to still create something that's visually appealing and getting a good sense of depth.
Yeah, even though it's rocks, it's not really a traditional Iwagumi, is it? It's more like, would you say like nature style meets Iwagumi?
Yeah, exactly that. So I would place the stones totally different if I was doing a traditional Iwagumi. So usually we'd have the stones pointing more upwards towards the surface, but this time it's creating the depth by getting the base, the biggest part of the stone at the front, so it looks like it's disappearing in the background.
Have everything big at the front, everything small at the back.
Yeah.
Whereas we've got a habit of doing it the other way around quite often.
I've done that for years, so it's amazing how different it looks, especially when you've got the depth of the tank to play with. Getting that big piece of stone makes all the difference.
Yeah.
At the front.
And it is a lot more depth as well, so like your average 60 is normally 30, 35, whereas this is 45 back to front, so you're getting the depth of a 90 but squashed into a 60, aren't you?
That extra 10 centimetres, did you say?
About 10, yeah.
Mad difference in loads. But I say, because we're not having the stones pointing high, it was important that we got that depth with the substrate material, so it's getting there, just piece by piece. Little tweaks with the stone makes all the difference as well to get the look you're looking for. I think it was good as well when we're like planning the scape, I wanted to do something that was a bit challenging for myself, something I've always wanted to do, but also create something that was totally different in the showroom. For example, look at the tag to the right, totally different to this style of scape.
Yeah, we haven't got anything like that at the moment. Well, we do now, it's yours, but at the time we didn't. So we have we've got like would you say it's a traditional origami Tommy's, or would you say it's more, I don't know.
I think it's like a crossover. I would say like a landscape.
But completely different to yours.
Yeah. Tommy's is more like diorama stroke origami.
Yeah.
Traditional's like really, it's got strict rules when you're doing an origami. It's quite strict with the rules on stone placement, stuff like that, which I love doing, to be honest. Origami's one of my favourites.
No, totally.
But yeah, like I say, this was totally different again. So just messing with the stones and trying to create that channel through, reaching the end point. I think earlier in the video there, I was just pointing out the end point. So you want to see, I think it's important in a scape like this, you see a clear end point. So obviously with the screen being like the white, you'll just see that. So when the tank's drawn in, that's all you will actually see, a little bit of the white end point.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're not going to see like any sort of white at the top eventually, or maybe like this tiny smidge.
Yeah, just a little kind of like a V shape in the middle. So now we're looking at the decorative sand we're using. So I think, did I create like a 3-way mix of 3 different sands? Is it the Mekong sand?
I think so, yeah. So there's 3 gradients. There's like your powder, your S, your SS, and I think you did end up mixing all of them, just to make it more natural.
Yeah, we did. So I did the thicker stuff first to create a bit of try and create a barrier with the thicker of the gravel to stop the soil spilling forward, which was always going to be a challenge with this scape. That's why I used this grade first, and then eventually I mixed the 3 grades in a bucket to get a different look with the sand.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm still continuing there, trying to create that barrier. Because when you have the soil, there's nothing worse than soil spilling forward with.
No, especially blooming a man or shrimp as well.
It always happens. You're never going to have a total clean substrate. But yeah, this is the point. So I thought I did this. Mix the 3 grades in a bucket.
Well, it makes sense instead of you trying to sprinkle them all together in the tank, I suppose.
Yeah. It's something unique as well. It's not because you've got 3 different grades, it's created like a unique sand straight away, hasn't it? Always a bit dusty, but that clears once you've done your few water changes.
Yeah.
I think it's good because a lot of people do wash the sands, which you can do, there's no harm. But you don't really have to, because we know we're going to be doing, well, yous are going to be doing 2 weeks worth of daily water changes, so you don't have to worry about the dust.
Exactly, yeah. So because you're daily water changing anyway, and to be fair, like even though it looks quite dusty in the bucket there, when we actually filled it up, because we're quite gentle when we fill things, it doesn't really disturb it too much and go everywhere anyway. Oh, obviously there's a little bit, but
yeah, it just tell you with the 8A sands you don't have to pre-wash them, but there's no harm if you do, but you don't really have to anyways.
Looks hella dusty there, like, doesn't it?
I was choking at that point.
So we've got 5 stones in there, I think, so far.
Yeah, I'm always like that.
Odd numbers.
Odd numbers, it's got to be odd numbers. It just becomes habit. You feel, I couldn't walk away from that scape if there was 6 stones in.
No.
4.
Technically you could get away with it though, because it's not like uniformed anyways. Not uniform, but you know what I mean, like you probably could get away with it because it's going to blend together.
And some of the stones look like all one anyways.
Yeah.
I think the one on the left is the 2 stones, but it looks like all one when you view it.
Yes, yeah, you're right. And that big one kind of looks like more than one sometimes as well.
So it kind of like, I suppose it doesn't matter, but I know in my head it's like...
Oh no, I'd be the same. Yeah, totally.
It's got to be an odd number.
I'd definitely be the same.
So now it's just carefully pairing this. I forget what soil. What soil did I use? I can't remember.
I'm not sure. It's just popped up and we've missed it, I think. It's Amazonia.
Yeah, so we're using Amazonia soil, and I'm just carefully spilling this. Obviously the soil is for the plants, which really good quality soil.
Yeah, super high in nutrients, but it doesn't really matter too much. Like, it's going to be quite fast growers, so I think you go for pearlweed in the end, which you'll see coming up.
Yeah.
Which is quite demanding, likes a lot of nutrients. So.
Definitely. So I've had the soil, and the good thing with the soil as well, it's made the stones look aged, like so they're a bit more buried, not just lying on top of the scape.
Less placed.
So that's good. And he has a little mirror trick, which I've seen there's professional aquascapers use this technique. And it's just something a little bit different I want to try. I've done it a couple of times in the past. So you're just using the mirror. These ones are acrylic mirrors, and we'll also use additional mirror, don't we, later down the line.
Yeah, because I think, again, you ended up with like even numbers and it was niggling you, wasn't it?
So I'm just placing the mirrors like a little stream, river, and it's not tack like an obvious river, stream. It's more about the reflections and just gives the scape like a bit of a unique look.
Yeah.
So now I'm just placing these so it creates the creek, a river run through it sort of thing.
But it makes you know that that's what it's supposed to be, I guess. And like, it, like you said, it doesn't, you don't have to like look and go, oh, there's mirrors in that tank. It's just to give them extra little details, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. There was a backup plan. If the mirrors didn't work out, I would have just created like a gravel. I extended the gravel. I used a different grade of gravel coming down just to create like a dry riverbed sort of thing. Using the mirrors to get the reflections. I think the reflections look nice off when you use the mirrors. When I've done it in the past, I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah.
No, I remember your last one you did with them, and I always really liked that tank.
Yeah. So now it's just extend that, so you've got a mix of the mirror, the gravels to break it up, so it's all just not one monotonous load of mirror.
You don't want it to. You don't want to be able to know it's like, oh, there's a mirror.
Nah,
a big square mirror.
The little mirrors have got the holes in, so the shaving mirrors you can buy to hang up, and the holes are quite handy because you can put a plant in there when you throw soil underneath. So I actually planted some hairgrass, I think it was.
Yeah.
Or helianthus, I can't remember, helianthus tellum or hairgrass.
No, I think you're right. I think it was hairgrass.
Yeah,
we'll see soon anyways, I suppose, but I'm sure you're right.
So this is just taking the time, adding the details to get everything to blend and look the way I had envisioned in my head. I love this part of aquascaping, adding details and taking my time with that. I think that's where it is quite, you can just chill and plod on with it.
Yeah, and it's when it all starts coming together, because I think until you add those final details, you're a bit like, oh, it's not looking how I thought it would.
Yeah, exactly. So the idea with details was just add as much as possible, so you've got quite a big gradient from the hack eye stone, different grades of this sand and gravel, different mix, and we'll add other gravels after that. So it's loads of details with different grades of gravels and different colours of gravel, which you would see in nature. It's very rare. It's just like stone, clean sand with a few little details here. You want to make it look as natural as possible by slowly adding those details, which is tricky. It's not an easy thing to do. You just have to persevere and take your time with it.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people do it with like twigs and like leaves, like botanical stuff, don't they? So like us as aquascapers, don't get me wrong, obviously we still sometimes use like leaves and things, but some of them just don't suit tannins or anything like that. So we try to get the details from just gravels, which I think's a little bit tricky sometimes.
Yeah. So straw technique, there was dust on the mirror, so I just asked for a straw to blow it off. Yeah.
Sound a bit out of breath there, man.
That look says it all. In my defence, asked for a straw. It was the thinnest straw I've ever seen in my life. So I nearly fainted. I nearly collapsed by the time I finished doing it. But yeah, the idea was just to blow some of the dust and gravel off the mirror. Like I say, your look said it all there. Like. Yeah, so just continue with the mirror. Getting it to look right, how I feel, so nice broken up river, stream, whichever you want to call it.
And once you got the shape as well, you'll know where to add more details, won't you?
Yeah, exactly. So rather than just a straight line mirror going all the way up, it's nice and broke up to give it a good look. I think we come up with this little technique between us, didn't we? When we're gluing. So I was just going to glue some stone on the edges, and the glue started to roll down. So
yeah, it's because it's so sloped, wasn't it?
Yeah, because it was sloped, it was running down, and we're adding stones. But I think later down the line, we started to add sand as well. So the sand was like running down the mirror, which looked pretty cool.
I know, I think you won with one rock for about 20 minutes.
Yeah,
kept sliding off,
the stones will keep sliding off. That was the tricky thing, was such a slope.
Yeah.
And that's what I found tricky when once we started doing this. It was quite hard to keep those stones in place, even with the glue. But adding sand, I think you had mentioned it here. So
I think you accidentally did it, and then I was like, "Well, just do that. That looks good."
Yeah,
like, oh, yeah.
aye. So happy accident, yeah. Worked out quite cool. So once the sand was sprinkled over, it looked really good. I might have invented a new technique there. You never know. But it does look really good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Looking back on it. So you can see once this starts happening, it really starts to blend together. It's not just mirrors lying on top anymore. It starts to give it a nice shape. Again, it was good because we had mixed the 3 gravels, but we had a good mix of gravel stews, didn't we, with the fight?
Oh, definitely.
And I think that made all the difference.
Yeah. I think it just adds that extra dimension again when you use different size gravels.
Oh, definitely.
Just one kind of looks just flat, doesn't it, sometimes? It depends on the scape, I suppose.
And we didn't have to worry about how much sand we had because we knew there was soil underneath, so we can still plant in the sand. So there's no need to worry about that. So these gravels here, I had brought from home. I had some gravel mix, I think it was like garden and pot mix, if I remember. I can't remember.
Just small round natural pebbles, aren't they, that add some darker tones in them.
Yeah. But James sat and divided the darker stones from the brown and beige ones.
It's like separating Smarties, isn't it?
I do that at home, like it is sad, but it has to be done. As you can see, it grades really well with the hack eye stone, so it was well worth doing. Thanks, James. Yeah, I think it looks pretty cool, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So time to add the wood now. So the idea of the wood was fallen trees, fallen branches, fell against over the river, the stream, onto the rocks and stones. So it was just a case of messing around with the wood, getting the right shape and getting a decent looking scape.
It's just seeing what wood flows best with the rocks, isn't it?
Was this ironwood? Is it ironwood you call it?
Yeah, hornwood, ironwood, riverwood, whatever you want to call it. There's so many names nowadays, doesn't it? I
thought it was perfect for this one, like I say, for the fallen trees type of thing.
Yeah, you want at least some like thick stuff to look like a fallen trunk or log, don't you?
I mean, that's the feel you go for. You don't have to worry about, it doesn't have to be a fallen tree. It's the concept of it.
Yeah.
So obviously you've got to remember it's a fish tank, and we've.
Well, yeah, because it doesn't look like a tree, does it? But like it could be aged, could be 10-year-old.
Exactly.
Rotted down, no more leaves.
Yeah, and that's the idea. It's done really common. That's mosses grew on it later down the line, and. But I had a plan in mind when I had done this in the dojo, but I don't think I was 100% happy with it. So it was just a case of chopping and changing the wood till.
Yeah. And it never ever goes 100% the same as what it was in the dojo.
Nah. Sometimes I find as well, the more you're fighting with the wood to get it to sit somewhere, it's just not happening. The wood naturally wants to sit in a natural place. And I kind of go with that rather than fight it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because sometimes even though what you think looks good, if it falls naturally into place, it actually probably is going to look better.
It's like the wood telling you, yeah, I want to sit here. It sounds daft, but I think that's what it is. This technique's really popular now, isn't it? I never used to do this, and I do it all the time now. So it's using bog standard toilet roll tissue paper.
Yeah, I never used to do it either, but my wood used to always float off.
Yeah, it does save. Used to always be on edge about wood floating.
Oh, I know.
This technique, you never worry at all about it.
I used to get in a paddy when like I'd done it all nice, filled it up, off it goes, and I used to cry.
It does make you cry. After all the whole weight you put in positioning, then you're like, well, I'm packing in aquascaping for the rest of my life. I was a bit gutted of that big trickle down the stone. I didn't want that to happen, but we'll disguise that with the sand again.
You're going to say it doesn't stay there either. You can scrape it off easy enough, can't you?
That's it. Scrape it off if it's annoying you too much.
I'm so messy as well. I say in every video how messy I am, but I really am.
Aye. I start off really clean and organised, and then halfway through, the place is a mess, but I guess most people are like that.
Yeah, you're just concentrating on other things, aren't you?
When I do this at home for my own personal videos, where I'm doing my videos, it never smokes. Never.
Really?
I don't know why. And as soon as I'm not videoing, yes, it smokes.
Must have rubbish quality.
It does me head in.
Literal.
But yeah, it looks mint on camera. You've got to have the smoke effect.
Well, you must have been happy with your Hardscape, Mark.
Yeah, what more? Oh, again, looks as it all. I'm definitely a one-off. Yeah, I was happy with the Hardscape.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
We'll see at this point, I don't know, we added more wood later down the line, didn't we?
Yeah, so once you'd planted it up, I think, like, you came back about a week later, didn't you?
Yeah.
And you thought, oh, there's something missing about this.
Yeah, it didn't flow. I always talk about flow in aquascapes, it's just something wasn't flowing with it. So you'll see later in the video, we added more wood. So first of the plants is going in, I think that's Helianthus tendon green.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a mix of grass plants we were using. The planting, there wasn't a massive plan with the planting. The idea was to make it look wild in age. So I don't think you'll see the potential of the plants till it's quite a way older, this scape.
Oh, no, I know exactly what you mean, yeah. It's more of those, like, when those, like, especially Helianthus, I think looks better when it's aged.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, it gets bigger and it looks more robust,
Yeah.
and it spreads little shoots everywhere, so...
So in that case, it's not going to be loads of trimming, it's letting this one go a bit wild.
Mm-hmm. I think the only thing I've trimmed so far is the pearlweed.
I was just going to say, the stems is probably the pearlweed is the only one that needs it.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot to use that plant.
It's in there, it's got its little bubbles now as well.
Yeah, I've seen them. Forgot about that.
Have you even looked at it today, Mark?
No, I haven't.
Oh, shame.
Yeah, you're making us work. Yeah, I'm not coming to do your audio now.
I made you a coffee, what more do you want?
Yeah. It's freezing now. Isn't it the difference a bit green makes? Straight away you see, wow, with the dark of the wood and the stone, the green looks amazing.
Yeah, it's quite a dark scape, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, like in like a quite an eerie sort of, well, rivery way, like is what you wanted, I guess.
That's what I thought about. It's quite eerie and dark and shaded, and you can do a scape that's the total opposite of that, but that's the joy of it. You try different things, but like I say, that green does brighten things straight up.
Yeah.
So I say no real plan, just randomly planting different types of grass plants. And again, when these grow in, it should look all wild and aged. That's what one looks so nice and natural. A little technique just to see where you're going to go. I've just been saying it's not organised and wild, but it is there. Now we're just making a barrier line to know where we're going to put the pearlweed, because we did want to divide that and have a bunch of pearlweed going.
Yeah, I think it's because we said, like, because pearlweed grows so fast.
Yeah.
Going to leave a small gap so we can sort of control it a bit more.
Yeah. So that's just a handy little way of using your pincets, just to make a little line so you know where that scaping area is going to be. Pearlweed, the good thing with pearlweed is, like you were saying, grows fast, so that's going to take in them excess nutrients in the early stages, because they were going to act as like shrubs in the distance.
Like a tree line sort of thing.
Yeah, tree line, and so that was the aim of that. We'll see at this point, I don't know, we added more wood later down the line, didn't we?
Yeah, so once you'd planted it up, I think, like, you came back about a week later, didn't you?
Yeah.
And you thought, oh, there's something missing about this.
Yeah, it didn't flow. I always talk about flow in aquascapes, it's just something wasn't flowing with it, which made a world of difference. So.
And that's okay to do, you don't have to get it absolutely exactly right the day you do it. it's living with it, looking at it and thinking, oh, do you know what, that would look lovely there.
Yeah.
We all do it.
Yeah. And not just the hardscape happens with the plants. As the plants evolve, the scape evolves and you make little changes. I think that's a part of the joy of it. It's never like, that's set in stone, I'm going to leave that be, never touch it. That's the way it happens.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed this scape. Had a great day doing it. So thanks guys, thanks for having us as always. And it feels great to have an aquascape as part of your amazing showroom. So
well, thank you very much for doing it as well.
Excellent.
Cheers guys, bye.
Thanks guys, bye.